Hi there, I'm Airlie Wildy from airliewildy.com and Mum's Power Tools. Today I just want to do a short video for you about mother's guilt. It's a really important topic that we all feel strongly about, and I just wanted to talk to you about it and give you my top 5 tips for managing it so that you can feel that it's not weighing you down and that you are getting past that guilt. Let me tell you a bit more about me. I am a mum. I have 2 girls. One is 5 and one is 2. And I have worked while I've had my kids. I've built my business while I've had my kids, and I am very conscious of the decisions that I make, and because I know how much it can be gut-wrenching to have them screaming and crying as you're walking out the door and saying goodbye, and I know how much that pulls at your heartstrings. And I've gone, out to the car and just cried and cried, and despite the fact that I know that within 2 minutes they're fine, it's just that initial separation that they find difficult, and me, and I've second guessed myself in decisions about what's good for them and what I should be feeding them and what I should be doing with them and how much time I should be spending with them. And all of this second guessing and doubting and hesitation means that I'm not trusting myself, and that's not ultimately getting me anywhere either. So I have done a lot of work on building my own self-esteem to address that guilt, and to trust myself more, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. So my first top tip is to trust yourself. You've made all the pros and cons lists in your head about whether to go back to work or how long to go back to work, how many days to go back to work for, or what you can manage in terms of feeding your kids and what's feasible and what's cost effective for you, and you've done all that in your head. You may not have gone tick tick tick, cross cross cross, but you've worked it out and you've found the medium that works for you. So trust yourself with that, and trust yourself that you're doing the best thing that you can, because no one is denying that you don't love your children. So that's all you need to do, is love them and do the best that you can. So trust that you have made those decisions and move on from them. You don't need to keep second guessing that decision over and over again. Just make the decision and go with it, whether it's for going back to work or how many days you go back to work. Make your decision and trust that you've made it from the best place with the information that you had at the time, and go with it. If you change your mind later, that's okay. You don't have to make a decision that is set in concrete and never change again. So, just trust yourself. So my second tip is about how to manage some of these guilty moments. And the reason that we feel guilty is usually one of 2 reasons. The first is that quite often is the childcare issue. So we're putting our child in care with someone else and it's not us, and they're influencing the child, and you're not. And I've gone to pick up my daughter from childcare, and she smells different and she learns different words to what I would say, and it's like, well, it's adjusting to those sorts of things. And the other main reason that we feel guilty is because we're missing those precious moments. So when you feel those things, they're the times that you plan precious moments. When you have time on weekends or days off, plan them so that you have them. Don't just say, well, I've missed it. Plan it so that you can create those moments with them and be present. And by being present, I mean play with your children and make time to play with them, because that will give you that balance of working and doing all the things you need to do at home and spending time with your kids. So plan for all those things. And when you're doing it, you don't play with your phone or your iPad or have the TV on. Just give yourself time. And it doesn't have to be huge chunks of time. 10, 15 minutes at a time, a couple of times a day, or, going out and playing at a playground and playing games. All of those things are the precious moments. So if you can incorporate those into your days and your weeks, as well as your work and all the other things that are important to you, then it is a juggle, but you are still getting those things that you need. So my third tip is to not focus on the guilt. That's an energy sucker. If you keeping on dwelling on, if you keep on dwelling about the fact that you feel guilty and it's really hard, and despite the fact that it is hard, if you focus on the positive things and be positive about the time that you do have to spend with them, and the fact that you've chosen to go back to work and you've made that decision because it's a financial decision, or it's a you go crazy because you're at home all day, that's your choice. Trust in it and focus on the positive things that you're getting from that. Don't let the negative stuff pull you down. Put it to the side and move on from it, and focus on the good times that you can have in the future, because that's the really important stuff, not the decisions that you've made ages ago. You've made it, move on with your decision and trust yourself and be present and have that special time with your children. So my fourth tip is about acknowledging those feelings. Don't try and push them away. So I shouldn't feel guilty. I shouldn't feel guilty. It's normal. It's human. We're only human, and we all have them, because it is such a hard thing to do. So acknowledge that and give yourself some time to go through that and say, I am feeling guilty about this, but it doesn't make you a bad mum. Just because you're feeling guilty about going back to work or putting them in care or bottle feeding or whatever, it doesn't mean you're a bad mum. Who says that you are? Only you can say that, and you know that you are doing the best that you can. So trust yourself for that. It comes back to this: don't doubt yourself all the time, and know that you're doing the best job that you can. So these feelings that you have are really important, and they shouldn't be pushed away. Also acknowledge that you've made your choice, because that will make you happier. And ultimately, when you're happier, your family is happier. When you're thriving, your family is thriving. And that's a really important point to make, because you are more than just a mother. You're a person as well who has passion and drive or interests in other things and wants to be with other people. Then you find the balance and support system that helps make you happy. And that's the really important thing. If there are, if you are having those really negative, guilty feelings, then pinpoint what it is about and try and get some support. So when I had my baby, my second baby, I decided to start my business, and it was important for me to be able to keep using my brain. I didn't want to just be sitting at home with her and going goo goo gaga. It wasn't for me. So when I could put some of that energy when she was sleeping or playing, and I still would balance it with other times that I spend with her. But when I could use my brain to think about things and brainstorm and learn stuff, that created a really good balance for me. And it made me treasure that time I had with her even more. I could have just decided not to do anything and just focus on her, but I would have gotten bored with it in a lot shorter time, and started looking for something else. I did trust that I was making the right decision for me then, and that's all I could do at the time. I can't judge my decisions from before based on something that I know now, and not that I would change anything, but you can't make judgments on decisions that you made before, because you're just making them with the best of your knowledge and ability. For me, my business is based on the fact that when mums are happy, then the family is thriving and happy, and that's all I want for you. To allow yourself that happiness, and to not be dragged down by that guilt, because it can just suck the energy out of you. And there are so many things that do suck the energy out of. We don't need more of them. And that's a really important point to make. So my fifth tip for managing mother's guilt is to find time for you. And the way to do that is through planning, through being organised, and using that time doing things that really make you feel good, and not just dead time that is just rest time. I mean, you need rest time, but you also need time to do things that inspire you and give you back that energy that you love. So this is the last point that I want to make with you, is about Mum's Power Tools. And this is my basic first step to getting that organization and to learning how to trust yourself and build that confidence so that you can find time for yourself and be more positive and learn to make decisions and trust those decisions that you make, and give yourself permission to do the things that make you happy, because that is so important for you and your family. So Mum's Power Tools is about getting control of the sort of managing your family life and the juggle of everything. And it looks at some really practical tips with planning, like how to make a to-do list that really works, that isn't overwhelming you, that doesn't just make you go, oh, I don't know where to start, and how to actually get things done. I also talk about staying focused and working out what is really important to you so that you know where to spend your energy and where to spend your time. And we touch a little bit on parenting so that you can get the best out of you as a parent, and so that you can feel like the best mum, because I know that you are. And that's really important. And that those 4 things provide the structure and the sort of family control center. So Mum's Power Tools looks at those 4 areas. And there's also a laser coaching session with me to really problem solve something that might be a really difficult area that we can nut out and make an action plan for. And it also gives you a workbook for creating your own family control center. For me, it's a folder that has everything in it that helps me manage my family, but the structure as well, the things that you need to do that you can then rely on, like the routines that you need to set up for yourself so that you're getting the best out of you and your family and your time. So we go through all of those things in Mum's Power Tools, and it gives you just that perfect base to be able to then start finding that time for you and to be able to thrive, because you have that structure in place, and that's where I want you to be by the end of it. Each week you would get 5 maybe videos that are about 2 minutes each, just about each topic, because I know that you don't have huge amounts of time. And you get all the templates that you need to set this stuff up. When things get really chaotic, you've got this structure there, and it's supporting you, and it's giving you confidence, and it's giving you more time, and that builds on itself and builds, and you build that momentum that is really important for you to be able to thrive yourself. And that's where I want you to be. So I would love to have you on board Mum's Power Tools. It's only $97 for 4 weeks. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.